You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports 2. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you guys and gals for watching our channel. So, let's talk about Jason Whitlock. I like Jason Whitlock a lot. He's been around for a long time. I've been consuming his journalism for probably, over 20 years, I would guess. I can remember Jason way back in the day on ESPN, back when that actually meant something on Pardon the Interruption. And, of course, he was a journalist in Kansas City for many, many, many moons. And now he's over at The Blaze. He's got the Fearless show on YouTube and on podcast and, of course, the Blaze app. And it's a very popular show. And, of course, as you can expect from one Jason Whitlock, he's breaking narratives. He's going the other direction. He's not following the leftist media playbook. I like that. I like that about Jason Whitlock. And Jason Whitlock is pointing something out here. Yesterday, I did a video where Hall of Fame NBA announcer Mike Breen come out and just he's completely baffled by the fact that ESPN and really and truly Disney got rid of Mark Jackson, got rid of Jeff Van Gundy. Totally nonsensical. One of the best teams, and look, I don't consume the NBA anymore, but I remember consuming this team many moons ago, and they were great at what it is they did. It was sort of like a dream team, so to speak. Having Van Gundy doing analysis, Mark Jackson doing analysis. When you have a team like that put together for something like the NBA, you just don't get rid of it. Okay, that's the kind of team you go out and try to get and pull into your company to make your company better. But Disney is so desperate to cut money, they cut those two. And then they grabbed Doc Rivers. Yikes. Okay. I mean, he's not terrible, but is he really first broadcast team material? And then they decide to elevate Doris Burke. Now, I've got nothing against Doris Burke. From what I've heard, she's okay. All right? I'm not going to say she's terrible on calls, or I'm not going to say she's great. All right? But what she is not is the first team broadcast head. It just should not happen. She's not qualified for it. And Jason Whitlock has come out, and he has slammed ESPN for promoting Doris Burke into that position. And Jason Whitlock said the same thing. Simply put, Doris Burke is not qualified for this gig. All right? Let's be honest. Her name's not big enough. That's part of it. It absolutely is part of this. Now she's supposed to be leading the NBA coverage, and unfortunately for ESPN, there's no other way to look at this than the fact that there is some kind of agenda at play here involving the promotion and the rising of women. Don't think they're willing to force that? They have what? The ESPN W? They're creating an entire in-studio show comprised of nothing but females. I cannot wait to see the ratings on that. It's going to be all-time dog shit. It's going to be absolutely terrible. It makes no sense whatsoever, but ESPN has made their agenda clear. Plus, they're not having to pay her as much. I mean, let's be real. Not having to pay her as much. So, let's get to this. This is the New York Post. Perennial pot stirrer Jason Whitlock unsurprisingly ripped ESPN's decision to remove Mark Jackson from its #1 NBA broadcast team in favor of Doris Burke. God, that just sounds awful when you say it out loud. Quote, "I absolutely love Doris Burke," Whitlock said on his show Fearless. "She does a really good job, but she is not qualified to be the #1 broadcaster on the NBA." The ex-ESPN host has never shied from his opinion, especially when it comes to his former employer, who he parted ways with on 2 occasions in 2006 and 2015. He claims the main issue with adding Burke to the mix is her lack of qualifications to criticize NBA players who inevitably will push back against her. Quote, all of that is out of the window. You are a woman in this spot. Doris Burke is good. But if you think she's woman enough to criticize these multimillionaire NBA players and coaches, it's not going to happen, Whitlock said. Van Gundy, who spent, and that's the thing, Mark Jackson, Van Gundy, they bring the cred with them, okay? What that cred is, coaching at a high level for both of them. And in Mark Jackson's case, Mark Jackson was a very damn good NBA player. A lot of people forget that. Very damn good NBA player in the late 80s and into the 90s. Van Gundy, who spent 25 years as an assistant head coach in the NBA, was particularly known for his officiating criticism. Jackson's accolades range from a former all-star NBA player to coaching the upstart Golden State Warriors as they were budding into a dynasty. I still feel like Mark Jackson has gotten the rawest of deals when it comes to coaching. And there's a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of fire around the fact that the NBA has blackballed Mark Jackson from coaching because of his religious beliefs. He's very strong in his faith. He does not back off of that. He's very vocal about it. And the word has it the NBA doesn't want that around their locker room. Any shock of that, because they embrace Black Lives Matter, which of course is Marxism, and Marxism doesn't like Christianity. So there you go. That circle is now complete and you get the picture. Quote, when one of those players looks over and glares or tries to intimidate Whitlock, who was let go a second time after he launched the undefeated vertical, what'd you say? What do you know? And again, I know she played a little basketball, but not in the NBA. Burke has on-court experience from her collegiate days at Providence, where she averaged 12.1 points and 5.3 assists. She graduated as the school's all-time assist leader and was an All-American in '87. Burke's promotion to lead announce team alongside Mike Breen should be a change of pace for the broadcast that featured Jackson and Van Gundy. Quote, it's sad because we really thought we had something special. We were able to do it longer than anybody ever did, Breen told the Post Tuesday. It's something we'll all treasure, but we just wished it would have been a little longer. The season starts October 24th. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. Look, that's impressive. All-American, Division I. I get it. Women's college basketball, much more popular than the WNBA. It's a better product, frankly. Kind of in the same way that, frankly, now collegiate basketball can be a bigger product when you start getting up to March Madness and things really ratchet up and you got win or you're out and all that involved. The intensity, they play more defense sometimes. It just all ratchets up. But the point is, you don't have the NBA cred. You don't have the NBA credentials. And to be honest with you, I would have less of a problem with it if ESPN didn't have a long recent history, and I know that's two words that seems odd to put together, but let's be honest, since about 2019, we're looking at 5 years now of a built-in narrative where ESPN is trying to forcibly raise the stakes of social justice, women, yada, yada. Well, women, unless you're talking about letting biological men in sports, and ESPN's all for that. So, once again, we got some hypocrisy going on here, too. But you get the point, right? When you're blatantly creating women's shows, women's studio shows, all this, which are destined to absolutely fail, it's going to be interesting to see if ESPN is going to be willing to just keep the show going, even if the ratings are dog shit, just because they don't want it to become blatantly evident that this show got canceled because of bad ratings or whatever. When there's a blatant agenda at work, that's where the problem comes in. And people like Doris Burke gets caught in that crossfire. It just is what it is, you know. So I appreciate Whitlock. I like what he's got to say. He's not wrong. The players and coaches, probably the coaches will respect Doris Burke more, but a lot of those players will not. Okay, they won't. They won't appreciate the criticism. They'll be like, "Look, you're not qualified to criticize us at that level. You're just not." Interesting. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.